Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. When we look around us, even at our own bodies, what we see is the tip of the iceberg. Everything is energy, including you. Bob Proctor, my beloved mentor who passed a few years ago, he would say, everything is energy, nothing rests. Your thoughts are energy. You are God's highest form of creation. But he also said, think of this for a moment. Look at your hand. It looks solid, but it's really not. If you put it under a proper microscope, you'd see a mass of energy vibrating. Then he would go on to say, the table that you're sitting at is energy, and the walls around you are energy, and a dead body is energy. And people would disagree and argue, and he'd say, okay, well, think about this. How would a body in a coffin turn to dust unless it was still vibrating? John Assaraf said everything is made up of the exact same thing, whether it's your hand, the ocean, or a star. You are part of this vast universe. Dr. Ben Johnson said everything is energy, and let me help you understand that just a little bit. There's the universe, our galaxy, our planet, and individuals. And then inside of this body are organ systems, then cells, then molecules, and then atoms. And then there is energy. So there are a lot of levels to think about, but everything in the universe is energy. Bob Proctor would say, think of energy, the frequency of energy as lines on a pad of paper. You know, if you have a notebook, a scribbler, a pad of paper, and there's lines across it, and you could write on it. And he would say, imagine each of those lines is a level of vibrational energy. And you could be at the bottom of the page and you could put a little stick person, and that would be you on this current plane, living in this on this earth at this period of time. And the thoughts that you're thinking are vibrating at that level at the bottom of the page. And he would say, think about something that you would truly love to have in your life, a deep desire. It doesn't matter if it's wonderful, vibrant health, a loving relationship, or millions of dollars pouring into your bank account. He said it's all energy. And he would put a star at the top of the page toward the right and say, that's a goal that you want, a destination, a star that you're shooting for. What would you love more than anything to be, to do, to have? And think about that. What would you really want if there was no worry about time and space, no worry about the cost, the price of something, and you could just dream about a lifestyle that you would love to live, or something that you would create that would help the world. Imagine someone like the Wright brothers talking about flying at a time that mankind didn't know how to fly, or talking about building a cell phone at the time where people had a big contraption attached to the wall with wires and an operator plugging in wires just to connect a phone call to someone else. And you're talking about taking pictures with your phone and sending that across space. Everything is energy. If you imagine, if you have a piece of paper in front of you, if it's a lined sheet and you put a little stick person at the bottom and this is you, and you put think of a gold star that you got in school that's at the top of the page, and that's what that's where you want to go. Well, most people don't dare to go up to that level and think about what they really want because we've been programmed to think, well, how is that going to happen? I don't know the steps. I'm going to have to work hard, and I'm already working way too hard. If you're already working hard and going around and around and around the same place, getting the results all the time, that the similar results that you've always got, and then you're trying harder and harder and not getting any further. Maybe you're exhausting yourself. You're going around in circles like oxen attached to a stone wheel grinder. You're making a deeper and deeper rut. Of course, you can't think of how you would possibly get what you truly desire because it's on a different thought frequency. It's a different vibrational energy. A person who is earning billions of dollars is not thinking about the cost of a can of beans or where their next dollar is coming from. They're enjoying life and helping other people and distributing wealth so that more and more people have food and shelter and fun. Money is energy, and you're supposed to have fun with it, but you're not supposed to worry about how am I going to pay my bills and where is my next nickel coming from. Thought energy is so powerful. It takes thinking about what it would be like if you have a talent that you want to develop to be a world-class singer. The only thing standing in your way is you, what you think of yourself. Your brain, you are the most powerful transmission tower in the universe. If we think in simple terms that all energy vibrates at a frequency, being an energetic being, you are also vibrating at a frequency. And what determines your frequency is what you are thinking and feeling at the time. If you're not feeling good, you're vibrating at a low level of energy. Maybe you've got some fear, doubt, worry. Maybe you've been programmed to think thoughts of poverty and lack and limitation. If you want to shoot for that star and live a lifestyle that you're really comfortable in, and you have more money to give to your church, your charity, buy nicer gifts for your family, wear the clothing that you would love to wear, have a few luxuries, and not worry about how you're going to pay the bills. You have to think at a different frequency, a different level of vibration. When you think about what you want, you emit a frequency of, wow, I would love that. And that causes the energy of what you want to vibrate at that frequency and bring it to you. As you focus on what you want, you're changing the vibration of the atoms of that thing, and you are causing it to vibrate and come closer to you. You are a most powerful transmission tower in the universe because you have been given the power to focus your energy through your thoughts. And that alters the vibration of what you are focused on. And that naturally, magnetically draws it to you. When you think about and feel the good things that you want, as if you already have them, not the missing it, not the lack of it, not the poverty or jealousy, but thinking from the end goal. When you think about and feel about those good things that you want, you have immediately tuned yourself to that frequency. And then, if you can imagine the energy of those things vibrating and coming closer to you, they appear in your life. The law of attraction says, like attracts like. You are an energy magnet. So as you magnetize yourself, you get electrically energized. Everything comes to you at the right time. Everything you are focused on is attracted to you. So if you're not feeling in a great place, you don't want to sit for hours contemplating on how someone hurt you, or worry about what other people think of you, or doubt that you have the ability to do what you want. That takes you into a downward spiral and keeps you thinking at the low level vibration. And if you reflect back on your pad of paper and the lines at the bottom of the page, that's where you're thinking, feeling, acting, living. That's where your results are. But the star at the top of the page is where you want to be. It's how you want to be living. It's the strong, healthy, vibrant body, feeling well-being. It's the love life that you truly want to be experiencing, not wishing for, hoping for, but being in that relationship. What would that state of being feel like? You have to think and feel as if you're already there. So that's moving up the vibrational, energetic ladder to feeling better, to doing something that will change your state of being, change how you feel about yourself. Charles Haanel, over 100 years ago, said, the universal mind is not only intelligence, but it is substance. And this substance is the attractive force which brings electrons together by the law of attraction, so they form atoms. The atoms, in turn, are brought together by the same law and form molecules. Molecules take objective forms, and so we find that the law is the creative force behind every manifestation, not only of atoms, but of worlds, of the universe, of everything of which the imagination can form any conception. He said to become conscious of this power is to become a live wire. The universe is the live wire. It creates power sufficient to meet every situation in the life of every individual. When the individual mind touches the universal mind, it receives all its power. That means your thinking must be at a higher level, not a level of, oh, woe is me, I don't have that, but from gratitude, from love, from a feeling that it's already yours. And as you study, as you gain knowledge, as you practice, as you rehearse being the person that has what you really want, with the faith, the knowing that it's yours, then it's just a matter of time where you are living from that gold star at the top of the page. Bob Proctor said, I don't care what city you're living in, you've got enough power in your body, potential power, to illuminate the whole city for nearly a week. You're not just your body, and you're not just your thoughts. When you attach feeling to what you're thinking, you can create in your lifetime whatever you desire. Most people define themselves by their body, who they are, what they've done, but you're not a finite body. Even under a microscope, you can see that you're an energy field. James Ray said, what we know about energy is this. You go to a quantum physicist and you say, what creates the world? And he or she will say, energy. Well, describe energy. Okay, it can never be created or destroyed. It always was, always has been. Everything that ever existed always exists. It's moving into form, through form, and out of form. So think about your body. You were, first of all, a thought, a feeling, an action. You became, the sperm and the egg came together to create a body. Then you were born into this world. You grew and changed and developed. No matter how old you are, if you're in your 20s, your 40s, your 60s, your 80s, you started out as a spark of energy. You were an infant, a newborn baby, developing, changing, growing, aging. As you used your body, you created your life through your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. And what you put out into the universe showed you what you've been doing, what you've been thinking, how you've been feeling. Everything around you, you've created through your lifetime. As you're changing and growing and aging and developing, your body changes. And then after you die, if they put your body into a coffin, it's still vibrating. It's still energetic and it turns to dust. So if you think about moving into form, through form, and out of form, when your spirit leaves this body, this instrument, it will go on and live forever. But the form that your body has been in is gone out of this physical plane. But that doesn't mean your spirit is gone. Now you go to a theologian and ask the question, what created the universe? And he or she will say, God. Okay, describe God. Infinite, always was, always has been. No beginning, no end. Can never be created or destroyed. All that ever was, always will be, always moving into form, through form, and out of form. As a Catholic, I believe that God came to us in the form of an infant to show us that we move into form, through form, and out of form. You see, it's the same description, just different terminology. So if you think that this meat suit, this body that you're running around in, that's not who you are. You are a spiritual being. You are an energy field operating in a larger energy field. In the movie and the book, The Secret, that was one of the most magnificent parts of the teaching of The Secret. You are energy, and energy cannot be created or destroyed. Energy just changes form, and that means you, the true essence of you, the pure energy of you has always been and always will be. You can never not be. You know that on a deeper level. Can you imagine not being? Despite everything that you've seen and experienced in your life, can you imagine not being? You can't imagine it because it's impossible. You are eternal energy. Quantum mechanics confirms it. Quantum cosmology confirms it. The universe essentially emerges from thought, and all of this matter around us is just precipitated thought. You can imagine what it is that you really want, visualize it clearly, sit quietly, no distractions, and decide what you want to create. Know that anything from within the field of your own consciousness, which is ultimately universal consciousness, you can create. There are infinite possibilities. And if you have the belief that you can develop your talents and your skills and go for what you really want, you don't have to do all the hard work, all the heavy lifting. As you visualize your goal, go back to your piece of paper with the stick person at the bottom and the gold star at the top. Instead of your thought energy revolving around what always has been and living in the past and complaining about the future, start imagining, visualizing, thinking about what it would be like if you really did live the way you wanted to. No worries about time, space, money. What would you create? How would you want to be living? What would you be contributing to this world? What would people say about you after you're gone? How did you contribute to this world? Not just your work, but how did you make people feel? So, depending on how we use our thought power, positively or negatively, that's the kind of body in terms of health. That's the kind of environment that we create. So, we are co creating our life. There's no limit really to your human potential. It's the degree to which you recognize the deep dynamics and exercise them, the degree to which you harness the power. And it really has to do with the level at which we're thinking. Every possibility already exists. All the knowledge, all the discoveries, all the inventions of the future are in the universal mind as possibilities waiting for the human mind to draw them forth. Every creation, every invention in history has been drawn from the universal mind, whether that person consciously knew that or not. How do you draw from it? You do it through your awareness of it by using your wonderful imagination. Look around you for needs waiting to be filled. Imagine if you invented something to make life easier. Imagine if there was a way to do something differently. So rather than looking at needs and complaining, imagine this thinking from the solution. What would solve that problem? What would the fulfillment look like? You don't have to work out the discovery or the invention or every step. The Supreme Mind holds all the possibilities. All you have to do is hold your mind on the end result and imagine filling the need, and you will call it into being. As you ask and feel and believe, you will receive. There is an unlimited supply of ideas waiting for you to tap into and bring forth. You hold everything in your conscious mind, in your consciousness. Charles Fillmore said, "Divine mind is the one and only reality." As you imagine what you truly desire, what's it like to live from that place of fulfillment, that legacy, the desires that you have in your heart? If you think about those lines on the page as levels of frequency, what would it feel like? How would you be thinking if you were already at the top of the page? Your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your results are already that beautiful gold star at the top of the page. It doesn't matter if it's luxury, fulfillment, health, love. Imagine what it's like to be there. Get into that feeling, get into that state of being there, already having accomplished what you desire. As you're thinking, you're already there, you're feeling it. Every cell of your being becomes that. You magnetize your self, your mind, your body, and you start to get ideas. You start to take different actions. So decide, what does that gold star at the top of the page represent to you? Set it as a destination. Now write about what it is. Who have you become now that you're living that life? What kind of clothes are you wearing? What kind of gifts are you buying? What kind of travel are you taking? What is your strong, healthy, beautiful body creating? As you feel it and write about it, imagining it so strongly that it's already yours, the universal mind will give you impulses. Trust your intuition. Write down new ideas that come to you when you're in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And then take action. Go do something different. Go do something that your future self will thank you for. What will take you one step closer, one level higher. And then one day you'll find you've made a quantum leap. You're already living from that beautiful goal. Say thank you. You have the ability to create whatever you desire. Create a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Enjoy your day. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7. Thank you.